What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new video. I hope you're all doing good. A new season is underway, so in this video we're going to be taking a look at some of the best battles I had in my first 5 sets. So I decided to start this season with a fairly strong team, only moderately spicy. This team consists of Lucario in the swap position. This Lucario is ranked 110 and it's running the standard moveset of Counter, Power Up Punch and Shadow Ball. Then as the closer, we're going to have Shadow Ninetales, rank 33, so really good IVs on this one. Fire Spin, Weather Ball, and Overheat is the moveset. And then finally, we will be leading one of the most dominant Pokemon in Great League Remix, the Flying Umbreon Mandibuzz. And this is the first time I've ever used Mandibuzz, and this is actually 100% IV. I wasn't prepared to spend the dust on a second Mandy, so the IVs are pretty horrible for Great League, but we're using it anyway. Snarl, Foul Play, and Aerial Ace is the moveset. Consider Dark Pulse over Foul Play, but we just went with the recommended in the end. So let's get into the battles. Obviously, this is the start of the season, so we do see some pretty crazy teams. So kicking things off with a Raikou in the lead, so something you don't see too often in Great League formats, and not something that we really want to see with the Mandibuzz, so we make an instant swap out into Lucario, and they shielded up our first power-up punch, so that's absolutely brilliant for us. We're probably going to be able to counter this thing down now. They did throw that wild charge, and that debuffed them, so assuming that this player is pretty inexperienced going off of the shield, and the fact they threw the wild charge straight away, so they bring in a pincer now, something else that you don't really see much at all. So we're going for another power-up punch and they commit their second shield. So we're just going to go straight for a third power-up punch, and we're completely vamping up the Lucario now, and because we're having so much fun, we're definitely going to commit our next shield, and we're just going to look to completely obliterate the whole team with Lucario. They come in with Hitmonlee, so this is definitely going to be taking us out pretty quickly, but we've got another power-up punch to get to. That does so much damage, and we're actually able to take the win with the Lucario on its own, completely sweeping. And that was an early season battle if you ever saw one. My opponent was pretty inexperienced there, I think, going off their team. So GG's to them, pretty unfortunate. Into the next one we go, and we picked up a really nice lead with Mew for the Mandibuzz there. So my opponent made a swap out into Pelipper, and neither of our back two Pokemon really want to see this. So we're just going to stay in with the Mandibuzz, and we're just going to look to threaten them with foul plays. Now we've already got them down into the yellow, so they do commit their first shield, and we snuck through a Snarl there, so that's really, really nice for us. And then we had to call whether it's going to be the Hurricane, and it was actually just a Weather Ball, so that was a really nice call. And now we're going to shield this up in case it is the Hurricane, which it is, so we're calling all the right things in this battle. Going for another foul play now. We did slightly undercharge that just so we could get an extra Snarl's worth of energy before they went down, because we knew they weren't going to threaten us with a Weather Ball. So the opponent now comes in with a Wigglytuff, and it's a shiny one at that. We're going to get off this Aerial Ace, and it does such a puny amount of damage to the Marshmallow Fairy. And when we bring in the Ninetales, they bring in the Mew. So I think at this point, we probably should have actually swapped into Lucario, because we want to keep the Ninetales aligned to the Wigglytuff. But we're actually just going to try and threaten this last shield, I think, and then swap into the Lucario. But they actually let it go through, so that's quite awkward, because now they're going to get off a move against us. If it's a Flame Charge or a Wild Charge, it's going to do a lot of damage. Oh my god, it almost KOs. That's so bad. And then we come in with the Ninetales. Now, can we get to the back-to-back Weather Balls? Whatever they're going to throw against us is going to be resisted, but because we're so squishy being a Shadow, it might take us out. And we just get to the Weather Ball and CMP tie, and this is likely going to KO us. It does KO. And that's an unfortunate defeat for us there, but we did play that a little bit crap. I think we should have actually swapped out into Lucario as soon as they went into the Mew, and that way we would have just forced them to throw their energy before we got to the Shadow Ball, and we probably could have took the win with the Ninetales. So into the next one we go. We did have a Dragalge on the lead for the bloody Mandibuzz. I keep going and call it Honchkrow. I have absolutely no idea why. Well, it's a dark flying type, so that's probably why. But anyway, they made a swap out into Magnezone, and we just completely melted it with our Shadow Ninetales, and in comes a Dragalge. So we went for a Weather Ball, they didn't shield up, so we didn't think they were going to shield up an Overheat, and they didn't. So it completely destroys the Dragalge, even though it is resisted by that Dragon type in, but they are just able to get to a move and take us out. So now we bring in the Mandibuzz, and they bring in a Registeel. So we're going to swap to our Lucario, and we're going to go to Absolute Town against the big trash can, and you're about to see the raw damage from the Steel Fighting type. So they could go for a Focus Blast here, but expecting they will throw the Zap Cannon because they probably want to debuff us just to give them more chance to get up to another move. So we do shield it up, and we're just going to get to another Focus Blast. Bloody hell, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Jesus. We go for a Power Up Punch. They let it go through, which is just completely baffling. I just don't even have words to describe how ridiculous that is. Come in with the Mandibuzz, and we take them out, because they didn't have another Pokemon to save a shield for, so unless they thought that the game was up either way, but surely they would have made it to a Zap Cannon and taken us out, and then potentially they could have got to one against the Mandibuzz, but fair enough. Into the next one we roll, and we've got Shiny Steelix on the lead. We made a swap out from the Mandibuzz, which was unnecessary as we're just doing neutral damage to each other. I'm not sure why I did that. And they actually swapped out and caught the Weather Ball from the Ninetales on the Water-type Samurott, but then for whatever reason decided to commit a shield. So I'm absolutely confused as to what's going on in this battle. Now they actually don't shield up the next Weather Ball, so they knew that that was going to be resisted. Maybe they were just worried we got to a different move. A little bit inexperienced, I could tell. So in we come now with the Mandibuzz, and they are doing quite a lot of damage to us with those waterfalls, even though we are quite tanky. So we're going to shield this up, and it's actually a blizzard, so that was a really good call there. I was thinking that they'd built up a lot of energy, so I was worried about even a potential Mega Horn, but a blizzard was even worse. So they did shield up the Samurott, which was really surprising, and they dipped out into a Alolan Golem. So we're just going to let this go through, expecting it to be a rock move, but it was a wild charge, completely obliterates Lucario. I wasn't sure about the generation on the rollout there, and it got to wild charge so quickly, and that took out the Lucario in one. So now we're taking out that Alolan Golem, see what they want to come back in with. It is the Steelix, so back into the neutral matchup. Oh, as I thought it was neutral, but of course Steelix usually runs Crunch and Earthquake, so both moves will be resisted. And now we're going to land the first of a few foul plays on the tanky Steelix, and we're going to be able to get up to another one. And for the second time in the match, my opponent makes a swap out into the Samurott, but this time obviously it does go through and take them out. And is that going to be the difference there? That was a really, really nice catch. But luckily we are ahead on energy, and they do generate energy quite slow with the Dragon Tail. So we're going to go for another foul play here. It's definitely going to take another one to take them out. Or can we just snarl them down? We do snarl them down. So we take the win, even though we did make quite a few mistakes in that battle. And my opponent definitely could have won the battle if they hadn't have committed their last shield to the Samurott. I'm not sure why they did that. If they'd have left the last shield with the Golem there, they probably could have swept, because obviously they would have taken out the Mandibuzz as well. So lesson learned for my opponent, but I'll take that free win. Thank you very much. And we go on into the next one. We've got Machamp on the lead for the Mandibuzz. So obviously this is a mixed deal here. We can both do super effective to each other with our charge moves. But this Machamp is running Heavy Slam. So once again, early season, weird move sets. Something you really do not expect to see is the Heavy Slam. We did let it go through, which was a nice call. And then we got off that aerial ace after they committed their first shield. They let the second one go through. Now we're going to shield up the Heavy Slam, because we're going to be able to snarl them down, see the switch advantage, and have a load of energy to go against whatever they come in with, which is a Charizard. So we're going for a foul play here. They commit their second shield when they really did not need to, and that is the sign, the hallmark of an inexperienced GBL player, someone that commits their shields when they really do not need to. So anyway, the Charizard is taking out the Mandibuzz, and we've got that shield advantage. They swap out into a Toxicroak, and this is something we really don't want to see. This is actually a core breaker for the Lucario and Ninetales. We're actually going to have to let this go through, because if we shield it up, they could probably just farm us down. But we actually survive it, and we get to a Shadow Ball, which is a surprise. And this is probably going to be taken out. The Toxicroak, probably. Of course it is. And then comes Charizard, and we've just got the Ninetales in the back with a shield advantage. So things could have got a bit hairy there if we weren't able to make it to that Shadow Ball, but we did actually just get there. And also, if my opponent hadn't have used that shield on the Charizard, they probably could have won that battle once again. So we are seeing some inexperienced trainers in these early stages of the season. They could do with some angry coaching, couldn't they? So moving on into the next one, let's see what we've got. Galvantula on the lead, so not particularly great for the Mandibuzz, as they're going to be absolutely destroying us with that Volt Switch. And likely they're probably just going to go for a lunge here and debuff us, which is what they do. So that was a good call by us, but we're not looking in a great spot here at all. We are staying in, which is a surprise really. We could have gone into, no, but yeah, I'm not really surprised we're staying in really, to be honest, because Ninetales is our only real answer to Galvantula. So we're going for another aerial ace here. They did commit one shield, which is nice, but they're committing to the farm down. They pulled the trigger on the move, got a little bit squeaky bum there, and they did actually throw the energy, which is really good for us, because that would have been horrible if they farmed us down the whole way. So now we're bringing in the Lucario, because we can get a nice big farm down off them, but they're no doubt going to hit us with another move just before we can counter them down. And we don't want to commit our second shield, so we're just going to have to suck it up and call it a lunge. Luckily, it is a lunge. Make an instant swap out now into Ninetales, so we can actually clear the debuff on the Lucario. They're staying in with the Shadow Hypno, which they brought in, so we're going to go for a Weather Ball bait here, and they commit their last shield to that, which is really, really nice. So now we're going to look to obviously shield this up and get off that overheat and take out the Hypno, and then just hope whatever they've got in the back is something that we can take out with the Ninetales or the Lucario. I mean, the Lucario's got barely any health left, but we do have some energy on that. But they've got Magneton in the back, so we should be able to take them out. We're over farming for whatever reason. I'm not sure why we're over farming, not getting off that Weather Ball. Even debuffed, we would have done a lot of damage, but luckily we do have the Shadow Ball on the Lucario there. And we're going to take out the Magneton and say thank you very much. It's unfortunate for that trainer that they had such a spicy Pokemon in the back, because yeah, if it would have been anything else, we probably would have lost that battle. So into the next one we go, and we've got a Golbat on the lead for the Mandibuzz. So obviously they're just going to be going for the Poison Fangs here, as the other move is usually Shadow Ball, which is going to be resisted by the Dark typing. So we're just going to look to make sure they don't get any free wing attacks through, and just obviously throw our moves and get this thing down nice and low. So anyway, we're going to look to farm up as much as we can before we go for the second foul play, in case they let it go through. So we do 2 more snarls and we get it off, expecting they'll probably end up committing a shield now to this foul play to keep the Golbat alive, but they don't. Golbat's fairly tanky, to be honest. The non-Shadow version's actually got a little bit of tank to it. So they let it go through, and we're thinking maybe we can snarl them down, completely waste our energy, and that was pretty poor. Once again, some early season rust here by the Angry Trainer. A lot of these battles, now I'm watching them back, I'm like, what am I actually doing here in parts? But it does happen. From time to time, your form does dip in everything in life. So there we go, back on with the battle anyway. Got a Kanto Raichu, so we was able to actually counter that down after we threw a power-up punch. And in comes a Diggersby, so we're going to go for another power-up punch, and they commit a shield to that, which is a really big surprise. And now we're going to make it to another one, so expecting they'll probably commit their second shield if they were willing to commit one to the first one, and they do that. So we're actually just going to match shields with them, and we're going to have some fun with the Lucario. We're going to be able to counter them down before they get to another move. I think they've probably got enough energy for a fire punch, but they just keep farming, and they go down. Lucario completely sweeping the back line there. It's so powerful. If you've got something in the back that doesn't resist the fighting type, you're just going to get absolutely munched once it starts vamping up that attack. So we go into the next one. We've got Tentacruel. Pretty neutral matchup for the Mandibuzz here. Looks like they're just going to go straight Acid Spray and look to whittle us down with that Poison Jab damage. Obviously, the Acid Spray is lowering our defense by 2 stages every time they use it, and the maximum you can be debuffed is by 4 stages. So after this one, that will be the maximum they can debuff us. So they're probably going to be able to Poison Jab us down if they commit 1 shield. Let's see if they are going to commit it, because it's going to take 2 foul plays to take them out, and we're definitely not going to make it to another one. So let's see if they're going to commit a shield here. They do commit the shield just so they can win switch, and they're going to be able to Poison Jab us down. So we're going to come in with the Lucario, really hoping to throw their energy straight away, and they do that. So they throw the Acid Spray, and now we're going to get a nice farm down with those resisted counters on the Tentacruel there. So we're going to make an instant swap into the Ninetales to clear that debuff, because Lucario is squishy at the best of times. So actually in comes a Wailmer, so this is not good for us. Sorry, it's a Wailord, isn't it? Of course. Yeah, so the Wailord, really spicy here. We let the Surf go through, thinking we should be able to just counter everything down now with the Lucario. So we go for a power-up punch, and they let that go through, and it does a nice amount of damage to them. But the Water Gun's really eating into us. We go for another power-up punch here, expecting they'll probably shield this up. Then they do shield it up, and we're just going to be able to counter it down, it looks like. They just get to a move in time. So this is looking really sticky now. What's going to happen? They come in with a CeeLo, so we're going to have to go for the Shadow Ball, which is definitely going to be taken out to CeeLo now that we're double boosted. But are we actually going to be able to counter the Wailord out? No, the Water Gun takes us out. The shiny Wailord, the total Spice Lord, taking us out, and I had to include that one. Oh, how do you feel? So into the next one, really, really bad lead with a Sylveon, but we are staying in here, trying to deny the charm, and of course it sneaks through you. Anyway, so we go for an aerial ace, and it does some pitiful damage as per usual, but we're not going to be able to get up to a third one by the looks of it. So we just get them down into the yellow. Going to look to come in with that Ninetales and farm them down the whole way. Now, expecting this to be a Psyshock, so we shield it up, because even Moonblast probably would have done a lot of damage to the Shadow Ninetales there, but it was actually a Draining Kiss, so we probably could have let that go through, and it's pretty random that they're using that. So they made a swap into Apollyon, so of course we come in with the Lucario. We snuck for a counter there, so that's absolutely perfect, and we're definitely going to shield this up and farm them down the whole way. Have loaded energy for whatever they come in with. Likely it was always going to be the Sylveon, so we're just going to go for a power-up punch. Now that we've boosted our attack, this should just about take them out. Or no, one more counter. So let's see what it got in the back. Oh, it's actually a Shiftry. So we do 2 more counters, and it absolutely chunks the thing. It's actually a Razor Leaf Shiftry. So at this point, I'm caught in 2 minds whether it's worth even going for a move or just trying to fire spin them down. We do go for the Weather Ball, and it's completely pointless because we're never going to get to a second move. Is this the foul play, or is it a Leaf Blade? It's the Leaf Blade, so we survive, and we fire spin down the Shiftry, and we take the win once again. Shadow Ninetales pulling it out the bag at the end there with the incredibly random Razor Leaf Shiftry. You want to TM that thing, mate? No one really uses Shiftry that much anymore. You notice that? It used to be everywhere back in the day. Anyway, into this one, Crobat on the lead. So just like the Golbat we saw previously against the Mandibuzz, they're just obviously going to go for the Poison Fang. The difference here is that they have Air Slash rather than Wing Attack as that fast move. And obviously we're going to go for these foul plays because we can't do anything else. Mandibuzz is quite boring, isn't it? Like this is why I don't really use tanky Pokemon too much, because they just bore me a little bit. It's a bit like Lickitung. I do love Lickitung, but it's boring, isn't it? It just doesn't really do much damage. I like things that do a lot of damage. It just gives you that ugh. So Anyway, I'll stop chatting shit now. They did take us out because they committed both of their shields, which is absolutely fine with me. We're going to come in with the Ninetales now and farm the thing down the whole way. They just go for a Poison Fang, but we did shield it up in case it was that Shadow Ball. They've actually got Quillfish in the back, so this is not very good for us at all. Once again, this is a core breaker to the Ninetales and Lucario, as it's resisting the counters from the Lucario, and it can destroy our Ninetales, of course. They bring in their own Ninetales now, which is fine. We're going to build up a bit more energy, go for a Shadow Ball. Doesn't quite KO, but we did get an extra counter, and they didn't sneak through a Fire Spin. It's not going to matter really because we're just going to be doing chip with the power up punch, but it's going to take all the help we can get considering they're resisting the fire typing. Can we get to the overheat before they get to a aqua towel jet bullshit, whatever it is? We hit the overheat. Goodbye, you stupid looking thing. The water type getting bored alive by our shadow fire type, and into the next one we go. So it's actually a Shadow Mawile on the lead here for the Mandibuzz, which isn't particularly great, as they are resisting all our moves. They are resisting the Dark typing because they are Fairy, and the Flying typing because of the Steel typing. So we instantly make a swap into Shadow Ninetales and do some nice damage. They were quite slow to swap out themselves, and now we're just going to go for Weather Ball against their own Mandibuzz here, which is actually an Air Slash Mandibuzz as well, I think. So it's going to take a little bit longer for them to generate energy. And now they're going to go for Foul Play. We let it go through. We can just go for an Overheat, but I think we're going to go for another Weather Ball because potentially they will shield this up, and then we can just go for another one, but they do let it go through, so we're just going to go for the next Weather Ball, expecting they'll probably commit a shield to this if they want to win the swap, which they do. So we should just gone for that Overheat, shouldn't we? We couldn't quite make it to another Weather Ball. They have farmed us down. We can come in with our own Mandibuzz now, and yeah, we're going to comfortably be able to take some aerial aces from them. Do we want to actually try and farm them down the whole way? We are going to go for it, which is quite risky, but we're going to do it anyway. Expecting the Mawile to come back in, so we're just going to go straight for a Foul Play. Even though it's resisted, it will get them down very low. And then we might throw the next one just to see if we can get a shield out of them. Or we could potentially swap into Lucario. So we do swap into Lucario and we actually snipe them out of it. So that's really nice. But they have a Shadow Alolan Marowak in the back. So that's not good for the Lucario at all. They're definitely going to Fire Spin us down. We go for a bait, which is pretty pointless because I don't think we're going to make it to a Shadow Ball. It looked like we would just fainted before we got to the Shadow Ball. So we just go for a Power Up Punch again. They know this is definitely not the Shadow Ball that time. So they don't commit a shield. No, they're out of shields. What am I saying? Are we going to be able to survive the Fire Spin damage and get to another Foul Play before they can take us out? They do throw some energy, which is great for us. It's completely pointless for them at this point because they're not going to get to free moves. We sneak through the Snarl there, and that is absolutely crucial. And now we're going to be on the Foul Play, and we're going to be able to take them out. So that was getting pretty hairy in the end there, but we take the win once again. And the Mandibuzz coming in clutch there against the Alolan Marowak, and that's why Mandibuzz has done quite well in this meta for me. I've seen quite a lot of Alolan Marowaks in the early stages of this season in the Remix Cup. Into the next one we go. We've got Toxicroak on the lead. Obviously this is pretty decent for us because we can hit them with the aerial ace, but it isn't a great move as we send, but they do commit the first shield to that aerial ace. It's fine. Now they swap in Macargo, so you know what this means. We're going to come in with Lucario, and really we should have gone for a Power Up Punch. We're going to farm them down all the way, but if we'd gone for a Power Up Punch we could have taken them out and saved a shield there. But either way, we're now at even shields and we're loaded on energy, so the Toxicroak comes back in and we go for a very risky Power Up Punch bait, and it does not pay off at all. That was such a bum call there. It shows that sometimes it's best just to go for the nuke move. Now we've shielded it up and we're going to go for the Shadow Ball, and obviously they're going to shield this up and farm us down the whole way. But I do think that we've got some energy loaded on the Mandibuzz, so we do make a quick swap into them, and we're going to go for the aerial ace and take out the Toxicroak, and that's a really nice snipe there by us. And I got Malamar in the back, so this is quite interesting to see. I haven't seen this much at all in Great League. They go straight for a superpower, which is completely the wrong call, but obviously I don't really think they've got much choice. This is a game over here, of course. That quick swap to the Mandibuzz definitely sealed the fate of the opponent there, as they really need to get some damage off against the Mandibuzz, because even the Ninetales probably could have dealt with Malamar just going straight for an overheat. So we're definitely going to take this win. So that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you very much for checking it out. I really appreciate it. Please leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you think. I did actually go, what was it, 20 wins out of 25 battles on my first 5 sets. So really happy with that. And yeah, onwards and upwards into this season of anger that we're going to go through together. Stay angry, trainers. I'll catch you in the next one.